What's up guys, Mano here, welcome back to the channel. I have been staring at this bike for the past couple of weeks and I just realized something, that the KTM ENDURO 690 is the unicorn of all motorcycles.
Before we begin, what is a unicorn? By its general known meaning, a unicorn is a mythical animal typically represented as a horse with a single straight horn projecting from its forehead. Also, it could mean something that is highly desirable but difficult to find or obtain. Now, in the world of motorcycles though, the term unicorn describes a motorcycle that can basically do it all. The unicorn has to be street legal, must have suspension that is very capable off-road, more than enough power to scare anyone, it has to weigh less than 400 pounds, reliable, and can take a serious beating, long service intervals, and must have a solid aftermarket support. Now, after a lot of hours sitting in my shop staring at this KTM ENDURO 690, some general research and a lot of thinking after, I came to realize that this bike is a unicorn. And here's why. The bike weighs at 350 pounds or around 158 kilograms. A bit heavy for an enduro, but still lighter than mid-sized street bikes and beats any adventure bike that you can think of. Despite the weight, it carries its center of mass low in the chassis, making it feel like a much lighter bike. In my opinion, this one feels lighter than a CRF 250 or 300L or maybe even a DRZ 400. Suspension is typical long travel dirt bike equipment, great for off-roading, but on this bike it's dialed up to the max. It's got more suspension travel and levels of adjustability that 98% of us riders would ever need. The front forks look like they belong to an excavator or mining equipment, and that rear shock is so big it might be from a mid-sized sedan. Looking at the brakes, you can tell this bike will stop on a dime in any road condition. You get a massive 300mm brake rotor up front and a rear rotor that looks like it belongs to the front of a lesser equipped enduro. Squeezing those discs are a set of Brembos and you cannot question that. You also have ABS front and rear, which you can turn off if you want to. Now, the engine of this bike has always been a beast of a single cylinder. Ever since KTM produced the LC4 back in the late 80s, it will always dominate in its racing category. The liquid-cooled 4-valve 6-speed motor on this 2015 model that we see here right now produces a massive 67 horsepower and equally impressive 54 foot-pounds of torque. That is probably too much for a dirt bike. Now, those are performance numbers from a 650cc twin street bike already. To top it off, the 2023 version, the latest one, makes 70 plus horsepower and even more torque. Combine this power output to the relatively low weight, you get yourself a very impressive power-to-weight ratio that most street-legal bikes could only dream of. And those top-shelf suspension and brake components is a guarantee that the ENDURO 690 will handle any situation easily. Now, KTM has this air of supremacy and labeled as a premium motorcycle brand. It's way up there with BMW and Ducati with their stereotypes. Anyone who is new to the brand would automatically think that a KTM is a high-maintenance bike and would require an arm and a leg to keep it running. But after some research on this matter, especially on the LC4's reliability and maintenance history, it's good to know that this one has pretty long service intervals. 10,000 kilometers for every oil change, and that includes filters, fuel screens, and other fluids. As for issues, well, the LC4 is very well documented and there are fixes and maintenance found online. This wouldn't be a problem if you live in a country where KTM has a strong presence. Speaking of presence, the ENDURO 690 has a huge aftermarket following that allows you to turn your bike into whatever you want. Adventure touring, rally bike wannabe, hard enduro machine, or my personal favorite, turn it into a wheelie happy supermoto. By the way, the wheels that we have here are by Warp 9, so if you want to turn your Enduro 690 into a corner carving supermoto, Warp 9 has a set for you. Now here's the thing about unicorns. As desirable as they may be and having all the qualities that we want in a do-it-all motorcycle, unicorns are not accessible to everyone. And I'm not talking about availability. In fact, you can go to the nearest KTM dealership and get one on the same day and go riding into a rainbow if you want to. The Enduro 690 has two things that keep this orange unicorn out of reach from us regular riders. One is, of course, price. A bike that can basically do everything comes at a hefty amount. Here where I live, a brand new unit will cost you around 800,000 Philippine pesos. That's basically the price of a 5-year-old pickup with 50,000 kilometers on it. Now, if you don't mind the price tag and have the funds to buy one, ask yourself this question. Do you have what it takes to tame this beast? I myself, with all my years of riding experience, trainings attended, and can-do attitude, would still not be able to fully exploit this bike's potential. Will I have a good time on the Enduro 690? Absolutely. But the big question is, can I live with one? And the answer is no. Honestly, this is too much motorcycle for me, and I would rather admire this unicorn from a distance. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you dig my content, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.